Ready? Hello and welcome to my mountain dream home. I live off the grid here in this self-built, not by me, but by my husband, this self-built DIY off-grid cabin, and we're gonna give you a little tour. I'm Esther and this is my daughter Sadie. Come on in. So the first thing you notice coming in here is how cool it is. There's at least a 10-degree difference coming in the door. And one reason for that is that we're tied into the ground. We're on a concrete slab. There's a big mass here which holds us to the temperature of the ground, which is 55 degrees, much cooler than that summer sun outside. You can see that we're timber framed. My husband Nick took down the trees himself, felled the trees, cut the timbers, did all the joinery, and then we had a wonderful experience with some neighbors and some family from out of town coming to help us raise the frame. We raised the frame all in one day and had a big party. But at that point we were really just at the beginning of our process of building, because we had to dry it in, get the walls and the ceiling up, and all the details and finish work. It's been about a 2-year process. We heat with a rocket mass heater here. This is an efficient way to heat with wood. It actually warms up this entire mass. And this is not the finished look of the mass, which is why we have blankets over it. We still have a plaster coat to go on that. So you can see we're still in process here. And our kitchen is still very much in process. We do have running water in the house, but we haven't set up our sink in the kitchen yet. Fortunately, that doesn't bother us because we're used to primitive living from several years living off the grid. But we do have a stove that runs on propane. We've got propane tanks right outside the other door. And you can see we've got lots of natural light. We've got south-facing windows, which make it so that we don't need very much electric light, which is good because being off-grid, we don't have very much. There's also an upstairs. We have, this really is the showpiece of our home. Nick built this spiral staircase completely freehand, just of his own design, out of steel, and this is wood that he milled himself. And it's maybe not the most practical choice, but sometimes a little whimsical touch really makes a house a home, and we just love looking at that spiral staircase every day.
There's 3 people up there.
We've got a family of 5 living here in just under 1,000 square feet. The loft upstairs is where we sleep, and it still is a little crowded. It's not tiny house living, but it is still little house living. It works great for our kids the age that they are, and we are talking about maybe expanding another bedroom, or even sending our kids down to live in the yurt when our oldest is a teenager. So we do expect to expand a little bit from here. Do you want to see the upstairs? Okay.
It's lousy up there.
It's lousy.
Because Stella's doing the hop.
Oh, are you brother and sister up there?
Yes.
Okay, come on up. Hello. We have a pine ceiling, all boards that Nick cut and milled himself. And one of my favorite things about our upstairs, he also welded all of this black steel railing. And he also made these beautiful bunk beds. Believe it or not, they are bunk beds, they stack. But believe it or not, these are pallets. He made these bunk beds out of pallets. So all the material here was free. And you can see he did all wood joinery here to put the pieces together. And we've got some great furniture in here that we painted ourselves and rugs that we made ourselves. So it's really our lifestyle to just be creative and DIY in almost everything we do. What do you think, Sadie? You like our little house?
course.
Yeah? You think Daddy did a good job building our house?
Yeah. What color is this? It's thumbs up for this.
Thumbs up for the house. And then over here is where the grown-ups sleep. It's a little messy right now. But we've got a double bed and then another bed for Sadie. We are going to add on a deck with this beautiful view over our pond. But as you can see, we have projects left to do, and maybe a few years before we have this whole deck extension built. This is our bathroom. Check out our nifty sliding doors. These are Fauchomatic doors, the kinds of things that my husband builds, basically, just for fun. We have running water, hot water, we have a shower, we have a sink, and we have a composting toilet. So we do have septic installed here because of the possibility that we may need that in the future or that we may want to sell the home. But we actually prefer to compost our waste. We don't use it directly on our vegetable garden, but we can use it on other areas of the property to build soil life and to make our property vibrant and a beautiful place to be. So it's really just a 5-gallon bucket with sawdust in it, and it does have to be managed. You do have to pay attention and make sure that everything is taken care of, but it isn't a bad thing. I hope that people wouldn't be too afraid of having to manage things. Certainly, it's time for us to take care of our own business in all sorts of ways, and this is one of them. But this is our little house. Thanks for stopping by.